How well prepared do you feel to teach students with disabilities and other special learning needs?
So I feel prepared now. This is my 6th year teaching. My first few years, I definitely did not feel prepared. So I've sought a lot of additional training, and so at this point, I feel very good about it.
Okay. Next question is, did you complete a traditional or alternative certification?
I did an alternative certification. I was working as a research biologist for several years before I transitioned to being a teacher. So I did the Texas Teachers online program as my certification.
Okay. What's your role and responsibility in teaching students with disabilities?
My role and responsibility. I believe that my role with teaching all children is to be responsive to their needs. So whether or not you have an identified and labeled disability, it doesn't change my responsibility. So my responsibility is to collect data on your strengths and weaknesses and areas for growth and address those needs.
Okay.
So,
in your opinion, what are your characteristics of effective inclusive instruction?
I believe that all students want to do well, and that reasons for them not doing well is the main reason is that they're unable to for one or more factors. So inclusive instruction for me just means providing them with access to the content, whether that means they need special support with decoding, with reading, or maybe they have other sensory challenges or need special accommodations. Good inclusive instruction is simply ensuring that every single person in your room can access the material, whatever that means for them.
Okay. Describe the frequency and method of collaboration between you and the special ed teacher working with your student with disabilities.
So the frequency and frequency and what was the second?
Methods of collaboration.
So we meet, last year we met every day because she was in my class for the full direct teach, and then she was able to support during either pull-out sessions or in-class support. This year has been challenging because their schedule is a little bit crazier, so we have a Google Drive in which we share all materials.
Delilah, get over here!
It's their recess time. Okay, so we share a Google Drive in which all of our materials are there so they can access them whenever they need to. And then we do discuss the specific strategy and I model the strategy, whether that's math, reading, whatever our strategies are. You know, we talk about how we want it presented, what the language is going to look like, what we're reinforcing. We meet in person at least briefly every week.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, I would meet with them for 30 minutes a week of, private planning time.
Okay. In what ways are you providing effective instruction for students with disabilities?
Can you repeat it?
In what ways are you providing effective instruction for students with disabilities?
So this year, I spent the weekend working on just collecting their data, understanding each student's trajectory in each subject. So what does their performance look like across grade levels and where are they today? So that helps me know what group they should be in, what skills they need to work on, and how often I need to meet with them, etc. So I'm starting their groups. That means meeting with them with a group of 5 or less, and teaching them directly whatever strategy it is that they need, practicing with them, and following up with them to make sure that they're grasping it, implementing it on their own, understanding how it applies to understanding how it applies to their experiences with content outside of my group table.
Okay. What is your biggest challenge in working with students with disabilities?
There are so many. I mean, it's not even kids with disabilities. It's really working
It's
with
in
kids.
general.
Every single child is different. So, I mean, you could say it as everyone has different assets or everyone has disabilities, you know? But making sure that I am present every day, that I'm tuned in to what they're telling me, even when they can't communicate it, you know, the way I would or the way I'm used to. Paying attention to those needs, making sure that I've planned correctly. So if you need me to write those notes for you in advance because you struggle to get it down in the time that we have, I need to do that. If you need something written in simplified language in order to comprehend it, I need to make sure that those materials are ready. So sometimes I think the biggest challenge is the time, just making sure that when I recognize a need, I'm preparing for it adequately and consistently and doing every child justice in my classroom.
And our last final question. I'll be in my own classroom next fall. What recommendations do you have to help me prepare to teach students with disabilities and other special learning needs?
Number one, before those kids come into your classroom, get a hold of their IEPs, get a hold of their academic histories in their CUME folders. If you have access to their teachers from the year before, talk to them. They have a wealth of knowledge. You know, they've learned from experience. And if you can get even a fraction of that, it's gold. That's mistakes. Those are mistakes in the classroom you don't have to make because they made them for you.
Okay.
So get as much knowledge as you can from paper and from teachers before those kids come into your classroom. And then, you know, just be sure that as you're planning, you're thinking about their IEPs. And have compassion on yourself, but understand that you in a lot of ways hold the key to these kids accessing what they need to be successful in life. So balance self-care, self-compassion with a recognition of the importance of that work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
You're welcome.